ladies and gentlemen. This is not a. This is a bit of a novel production tonight. Now, basically, as you know, Detectival, the original Detectival, the Spring Detectival has had to be postponed until further knowledge, and the Summer Detectival has had to be completely cancelled as of now. So we've got Mark Becher on tonight. He's going to tell us all about what's happening. And also the centre of the screen, just for obviously the people who want to find out exactly what's what, is the Address the Nation by Mr. Johnson himself. God, I wish he had a better haircut, I really do. So in short, as I say, unfortunately, Mark and the team have had to sadly postpone one event and cancel. And I do apologise, I'm sharing at the same time just while we catch our breaths. So Mark and the team have had to cancel Summer Detectival, and Spring Detectival is currently postponed until future knowledge. So sadly, that's the case. Mark, how are you?
Yeah, well, been better, obviously, but it is what it is.
It certainly is, sadly. So this is, you've gone through every process you possibly can. You've took all the government information into account. Let's tell us, the listeners, exactly what took place.
Oh, well, we've been monitoring the situation constantly since it started to escalate further. As everybody probably did, we all hoped it would probably just disappear back off to Wuhan and stay there. But unfortunately, it spread like wildfire, and the whole situation has escalated beyond anything that I think most of us could ever have possibly imagined. And as I said, we'd followed the government guidelines and advice up to the point where it became inevitable as to what was going to happen, which is probably what old Boris is going to tell us in a minute, that we're going to go into a lockdown.
I've just had a BBC News update, and basically that's what he's saying: stay at home as of this evening. That's what he's basically been said anyway. So, and Luke's, well, you cannot leave your home unless it's for food or medicine. I've got to go and get all sorts of prescriptions tomorrow. It's a sad state of affairs, Mark.
Yes, very, very. But as I said, it did become apparent that it was inevitable, and that was going to be the course of action that was taken at some point. So, I mean, for everybody's health, safety, and obviously it's going to be government law on Spring. There was just, okay, there's a lot of hassle and everything that goes along with postponing the event, but I think at the end of the day, it's for the best. So
it definitely is. I mean, as he said now, for a certain amount of time, we can't leave our house. Obviously, we were asked not to make gatherings, what have you. And Detectival is, all the Detectivals are some of the biggest gatherings that we have in the metal detecting community.
Yeah, well, you can't end up in a better place, in my opinion, than out in the middle of a field. But there was just a lot of points during Detectival that large numbers of people would have come into close contact with each other, and no matter what we would have done to implement any changes or safety measures, there was always a higher risk at places like check-in and in the evenings and the marquees and things like that. So we took this decision long before this was, as I said, it was inevitable anyway, but the decision had to be made because of those points. We couldn't eliminate them unless we threw everything out the window. And then it's not really a Detectival. The whole point of Detectival is to bring the world of metal detecting together, not stand 2 meters apart.
It is indeed. It's a crying shame. You must have. I take it you've put a lot of money into the events beforehand as well. That you're not going to recoup.
No, it is what it is. Though there's a lot of it's the time, the money, and the effort that's been put in by all the admin team. And the effort that will now have to be put in by them to transfer tickets, make refunds, and obviously, hopefully, we'll be able to organise the main September event. Although I feel that is very unlikely for this year. I think everything will probably end up going back a year now. Everything improves slightly.
So, in short, all the detectables have basically been put back an entire year. That's in short. I hope you are still there, Mark. One of us seems to have had a internet problem because you're stuck in one position.
Or is that just
Oh,
me?
there he is.
Still?
He's moved now. He moved.
It's just me staying really still. We're hoping that, I mean, if you look at what's happened in China and some of the other countries in the world, they are getting a handle on the coronavirus, and there does seem to be some sort of normality returning to life. So we can hope that in 6-7 months' time that we are able to continue and plan a September Detectival, albeit maybe a far smaller one than the September may have been, but we might be able to do something. But we've just got to wait and see how it all pans out, you know.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And obviously, for people who are watching, myself and Luke were in the process of doing issue 6 of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, which was coming live at the Spring Detectable event. We were going to do one for the summer and obviously the main Detectable event, as well as other ones. And again, all of them are on hold. The best we can do for the time being is to be able to put them out as a PDF format, so you'll actually be able to read the magazine, although obviously not how we'd have wanted it. And we want to do as much as we can for Detectable as well. So a lot of our ideas are on.
So I'm gutted for you as well.
Oh, mate, your side of thing and the side of all the people who were going to attend, all the people who are going to come. It's far more important for them to obviously be safe and sound. And I'm gutted for each and every one of all of us that we can't do something. So let's cross our fingers that things slow down, things return to a realistic manner, and we can move on.
Well, and when it does, you can guarantee that we're going to be back bigger and better than ever before.
We certainly hope so.
Yeah, well, it's got to be done, really, man. You know what I mean? You started, so you finish, and I'm not going to have unless this virus kills me. I'm not going to stop yet.
It's got to get me first, mate. Don't worry about that. I thought I had it yesterday, but I just forgot to take my drugs. So, honestly, last night, ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to be coming out tonight to do exactly what we're doing now. I went to bed at 8 o'clock and I was really, really poorly, and I thought, sugar, I've got it. And just before I went to bed, I took my nighttime drugs and realised I hadn't took my daytime drugs. So my body hadn't kicked in all day, so that was the issue. So I can only apologise for letting Mark down and letting yourselves down last night. But we're here now anyway, so yeah, bad times.
Yeah. Yeah, very bad times. I mean, everybody's obviously had to cancel digs. Now we're on a lockdown. Nobody's going to be going anywhere, theoretically. Unless your field's right on your doorstep. You could have a few issues.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And how's yourself coping and the family?
Well, family, we're all okay at the minute. You know, every time someone gets a cough or a cold, it's like, oh, God, we've got to isolate for 7 days or 14 days or whatever. The 3-year-old's got a runny nose again for about the 15th time in the last year. But you never know. It could be coronavirus now. So we've all got to isolate. Apart from everybody sort of like being a little bit on edge and having to deal with all the crap of having to cancel and postpone detectivals. I mean, we're all in relatively good spirits. You know, so it's all right.
Well, that's the best thing, mate. Keep smiling.
Nothing now because she's probably going to be stuck here because we're on lockdown.
Mrs. Sadler works as a nurse, so she's out and about, obviously, every day at the moment. Homeschooling was
Oh, don't.
It was a challenge. We got there, I think.
That one today. I supervised playtime in the garden, you see. I was like the supervised, the playground supervisor. Karen was the teacher today. And, yeah, what a challenge. It was like day one of proper homeschool. And, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a few
weeks to look forward to.
How long do you reckon? A couple of months?
I reckon.
You're rocking.
Yeah, I reckon at least 8 weeks, if not longer.
Oof.
But it depends on how people behave. Look at how people have been so far. I mean, we did hold our last dig on Sunday for a while, and we got a little bit of flack for it. But we did implement lots of measures, so nobody went anywhere near each other. We made it so it was payment in advance. Nobody had to handle any cash unless they were late adding to the list, and in which case, yes, they did. There was one or two. Nobody had to bring over and show me fines. They all basically posted fines to Facebook and emailed them over to us. There wasn't a dig briefing. That was all emailed to them. And at the dig finish time, they all just basically peed off and went home. But it went quite well. A few people still took the choice to talk to each other. But that was the last dig for a while. What else can we do? Again, it was inevitable what was coming.
Pete Terrell's asked where your cool headphones are tonight.
Had to lose those. I had to show off my big ears tonight. So the lovely sky blue headphones.
So, Luke's put on the bottom of the screen. UK is now in lockdown. We cannot leave the house save for food and medical supplies and one exercise per day. I don't know how it's going. It's going to be a strain on the police and such like. And obviously, I think the army are going to be subsidising that in some respects. It's a weird thing.
The whole situation is completely. It's sci-fi like. You know what I mean? I wake up some mornings and I think, am I awake? Is this really freaking happening? You know what I mean? Or am I in just some very prolonged, long, deep sleep? All right, Ray. And I just want to wake up. You know, as I said to someone the other day, like I don't like this ride anymore. I just want to get off. Yeah, I'd like to go back to normal now, please.
I hear that. I want to go back to work. How many people have you heard say that?
So
do you.
I'm going to be screwed for a whole year, basically. I'm lucky that I am NHS. I used to work for the National Health Service, so I've got a medical background that I could go back and utilise, I suppose, in some respects. So I mean, if I get really stuck, I'll go and do locum work or something like that. Yeah. And survive the year somehow. Hopefully we'll be able to get back doing the smaller digs at some point, you know. Yeah. But again, we'll see what old Boris says.
Well, it's we're in it for the long haul now. Obviously, it's horrible. It's horrible it's the kids I feel sorry for, Mark, because they're getting so bored. I mean, I'm bored, but I can crack on and do something on the computer or turn my mind for something else. The kids are having it bad. It's they get so bored, they don't know what to do.
There's only so much TV you can fill them with, and so much TV you want to fill your kids with anyway.
Well, we've been all right today. They've not used the TV as such. They've had their head in books. Well, I think my daughter has. She's been upstairs, but high school are sorting her out, and lower school. If by any means I go back to work next week, or it's more likely the week after, if not after WIT, then as a key worker, my wife, the little one can go to school. He'll be all right. My daughter, the eldest daughter, she can take care of herself for the time being, as long as she doesn't work or else. Can't ground them though, can we, at the minute?
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, all right then. Where am I going anyway?
So, Mark, have you got any other bits to raise and give shouts out or anything? And
well, I'd just like to apologise to absolutely everybody. As you all are well aware, coronavirus was not my idea. It's completely out of our control. If I had any choices, I said I'd make the whole thing piss off and go away. So I apologise to everybody that had booked accommodation, flights, all kinds of stuff to get over here to come and enjoy the spring Detectival event with us. And those people that had already started to buy their summer tickets as well, of which there was a fair few. So I know a lot of places aren't refunding accommodation or even moving people's bookings to next year, which is a real pain in the arse. And I'm sorry to those of you that have lost money from accommodation and flights and everything. I really am. There's no possible way I can make that up to you. Apart from that, I hope that when you come to a Detectival, you find something really cool. And if you don't find something really cool, you make some really great friends. And sorry to all the people that have volunteered to help as well. I've had some great messages from a lot of those guys and girls saying that they're truly gutted And they were keeping in constant contact as well as this situation was escalating, trying to find out what we were doing, what course of action we were taking, giving us great advice. So I can't apologise enough to everybody, all the bloody traders, everybody that was coming, the people that have already donated prizes and sent them over and everything. It's all going to sit there for the next one. And obviously Rennie Grove Hospice, who we were going to raise money for this time as well. Yeah. Truly gutted for them, because we were hoping to raise a nice chunk of money for those at Spring.
Yeah, and I think everybody's going to need their own money at the moment. I know we can't spend it, but you never know what's going to happen. So I think people are keeping tight hold of that for the time being. So
yeah.
If I just do a screen share, Luke, if that's okay, if you can agree to me doing that, just to show people what's what. This is the education page on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. We are updating it on a daily basis. As you can see, they're basically workshops, clubs, and what have you. You know, things of consequence. The more official done with children's learning. You've also got the metal detectors from LP and Regdens, and then we've got some downloadable activities packs, which if you click on them, the PDF will take you straight down for something for the kids to get up to, which I hope they will. My little one will be having a play with that. Also, I did three historical colouring books.
Is that up on the drugs?
It looks like him on that picture, actually. I mean, what's that goat demon doing on the right-hand side?
I was wondering that myself.
He's blowing up a man's head with some bellows. The Neolithic house cutout and keep model, that's pretty cool. And then there's open learning sources where you can go to the likes of Coursera. Sorry, Open Culture, not Coursera. I'll be putting the Coursera ones on tomorrow, and you'll be able to obviously go onto their site. There's all sorts of historical things and significance you can play with, courses and whatnot. And then there's some educational videos at the bottom learning about archaeology. So that's www.archmdmag.com/education. So, Mark, again, I can't stress enough from myself, from Luke, from a lot of people we spoke to, how gutted we are. But unfortunately, that is the way of the world now.
Yep, as I said, mate, it is what it is, and we can only just deal with what's happening and move forward and make the best out of everything. But to come, as Pete just said, could you imagine what an amazing event we're going to have when all this blows over? And we'd already arranged for 2021 to be down in Wiltshire on this brand new undetected site anyway. So now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
What's going to happen in 2021? You know, there's going to be some great events coming up, hopefully, next year. Fingers crossed we'll still have something in September if we're really, really lucky. But if not, 2021, we've got a whole year now to plan ahead and make sure that it is one hell of a banger, as Pete just said.
So, I don't know where I was. I had a trail of thought then, and it's just lost on me. I can't thank you enough for coming on, Mark. Obviously, I thought it'd be a good idea of you. And then you obviously thought it was a good idea too that you come on and chat to people, let them know exactly what's happening instead of reading about it. You actually physically speak and get things across. There was a lot of comments on Facebook. There was people that clearly knew better long before we did. It was a very difficult decision to make because there's so much work and effort and time and money that goes into putting a detectival together. It's not just like, yeah, we'll go detecting today in this field over here and we'll have like 40 people, blah, blah, blah. There you go, park there, job done. Yeah. It's a whole lot more than that, you know, with all the traders, the marquees, everything that goes into it, you know, and the girls, the admin girls were doing one hell of a great job getting it all together, and now they're doing one hell of a job taking it all apart. Mm. Well, I now know the LP, Regdens, Crawfords. I know that for definite. They all had the shut shop, but they're all obviously working on the internet. So if anybody needs to do anything in regards to that, please, have a look on there. If you're cleaning your finds, have a look for Graham Dempsey's carbon composite cleaning kit and
Come on, yeah.
preserve it wax. Have a look for that. That'll give you something to do. I think I'll be starting jet to the patio tomorrow, and then we'll crack on thereafter. So, yeah, Mark, let's all, every single one of us who do go to the next Detectival when we can, let's all put that a little bit of extra effort in, not just for ourselves, not just for our friends, but for Mark and the organisers of Detectival. Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, and sadly, it's under such circumstances.
Shit happens, as they say, Dave, and it's been a pleasure again, mate. Like, we were gutted today because we also had to cancel the March Historica auctions, so that's all good.
And you had some decent things in as well, I saw.
Some crackers, some real crackers. Worked, again, really hard. Alan and Adam and Will and myself have worked really hard to get some great bits, put together a good catalogue and everything, and get it, like, what we're pretty much spot on, and it goes down the bloody bog. But as I said, it's what it is, mate. It
is. Shout out to Detecnics as well. Detecnics have also closed, but obviously you'll be able to order and what have you through them. Ray Laidlaw says there's a massive rattle on Metal Detecting UK this coming Saturday night. A bit of fun as we will all be stuck at home. A bit of fun, a bit of banter. Pete at Leisure Promotions will be supplying the winners. Am I right in saying that's Metal Detecting UK, Ray? Just before we go. Just wait for that answer if there is one. I presume not anyway, but I'm sure if you contact Pete or Ray, they'll be able to point you in the right direction for that. As I said, Mark, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks
under the unfortunate circumstances. You take care.
Yeah, and everybody look after yourselves out there. Stay safe and don't bloody go out unless you're going out into the middle of a field and you can get away with it.
Do what the man says. Do what Boris says. Don't leave the house, save for food, medical supplies, and 1 day of exercise. I know it's shite, but that's the way it is.
Make sure that 1 day of exercise is in a field with a metal detector.
If we can do it. Take care, Mark.
Good luck, again. Stay safe.
Thanks to Luke behind the scenes as well. Luke, thanks again. Luke. Take care, everyone. Good night.